She wakes up one morning and finds worms coming out of her vajayjay. In the land of Opua, Alice was the most beautiful girl in her village. Every morning, she would stand in front of her mirror, rub oil on her legs, and smile proudly at her reflection. "Who can resist me?" she often said, adjusting her bright-colored wrapper and fixing her hair. When she walked through the village, every man turned to look. Farmers dropped their hoes. Palm wine tappers waved from trees. Even the married ones couldn't take their eyes off her. But this beauty brought trouble. Married women hated Alice. They whispered about her in the market and pointed fingers when she passed. "That girl will not rest until she ruins every home in this village," one woman said. Another added, "Her mother should warn her before something bad happens." Alice didn't care. She laughed at them, swinging her hips as she walked by. "Jealous people," she said proudly. "It's not my fault their husbands like me." Her mother, Mama Grace, was tired and ashamed. Every week, one angry woman came to her door, shouting and warning her to control her daughter. "Mama Grace, if I see Alice near my husband again, I will deal with her." Mama Grace would beg, "Please, forgive her. I'll talk to her." But when she turned to Alice, her daughter would just shrug. "Mama, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just being friendly." Her friends in the village no longer trusted her. If they had a new boyfriend, they kept it secret. Alice was known for snatching men without shame. One afternoon, after another group of women confronted her, Mama Grace broke down in tears. She knew Alice's behavior would soon bring real trouble. That night, she picked up her phone and called her younger sister in the city. "Please, Jane, I need your help," she said in a trembling voice. "Alice is becoming a problem in this village. The women will soon harm her. Please come and take her to the city." A week later, Aunt Jane arrived. She was a hard-working businesswoman who lived in Lagos. She looked at Alice with disappointment. "So, you're the one causing all this noise," she said, shaking her head. Alice smiled proudly. "Auntie, it's not my fault men like me." Aunt Jane sighed and said, "You will follow me to the city. Maybe life there will teach you sense." Alice agreed, but in her mind, she was already dreaming of the big city lights, handsome men, and attention she would get there. She packed her best clothes, her shiny heels, and her favorite perfume. As the car drove off the next morning, she waved at the villagers. "Goodbye, my jealous people," she shouted with a laugh. The married women hissed. Mama Grace just stood by the road, hoping the city would change her daughter. At first, life in the city was peaceful. Alice stayed calm, helped her auntie with house chores, and didn't cause any trouble. Aunt Jane was even surprised. Maybe the village drama has finally left her, she thought. But Alice was only studying her new environment. Within a few weeks, she made new friends, the type who loved parties, expensive clothes, and rich men. They took her to clubs, lounges, and beach parties. Alice quickly fit in. Soon, she started living the same life she lived in the village, only this time, it was bigger and louder. She started dating rich men. Married men. Different men every week. Expensive gifts and wads of cash filled her wardrobe. She wore shiny wigs, tight dresses, and walked around like a celebrity. She didn't care what anyone said. When neighbors complained to Aunt Jane about her behavior, Aunt Jane would wave her hand and say, "Please, leave her alone. She's still young. She'll change." But one afternoon, everything changed. Aunt Jane came back from work early, and the moment she opened her bedroom door, she froze. There, on her bed, was Alice with her husband. Jesus Christ! Aunt Jane screamed. Alice jumped up, covering herself with the bedsheet. Her face turned pale. "Auntie, please, get out of my house," Aunt Jane shouted, shaking with anger. "After all I've done for you, this is how you pay me. Get out." That night, Alice packed her clothes into a small bag and left. She didn't even know where she was going. After walking around aimlessly, she called one of her friends, Sandra, who agreed to let her stay in her apartment. When Alice moved in, Sandra gave her a serious warning. "Alice, listen to me carefully. This compound is not like others. Most of the men here are married and their wives are from dangerous villages. Don't ever try anything funny. They use juju on women who sleep with their husbands. Alice laughed loudly. Ah, Sandra, you're too superstitious. You believe all these stories? I'm serious, Sandra said. If you value your life, behave yourself. But Alice didn't listen. A week later, she met a rich Alhaji who lived 3 houses away. He drove a big black Jeep and always sprayed money on her whenever they met. Before long, Alice was sneaking into his house every evening. Alhaji's wife, a quiet but strong woman, soon heard the rumors. One afternoon, she confronted Alice at the gate. "Young lady, leave my husband alone. I'm warning you," she said coldly. Alice rolled her eyes. "Madam, your husband is not a baby. If he didn't like me, he wouldn't come to me. Go and control him, not me." That was the last time the woman spoke to her. 2 weeks later, Alhaji's wife traveled to her village. Nobody knew what she went to do, but when she returned, her face looked calmer, her eyes sharper. The next morning, Alice woke up screaming. Hundreds of worms crawling under her skin. Sandra rushed into her room and screamed when she saw it. "Alice, what happened?" Alice couldn't answer, she was just crying, screaming and sweating heavily. Sandra's mind went straight to what she had warned her about. "Oh God. Alice, did you make out with any married man in this neighborhood?" Alice's voice was weak as she whispered, "Sandra, please help me. I don't want to die." Sandra's heart started pounding. She quickly helped her up, but Alice was too weak to stand. Sandra helped her to the bathroom slowly, holding her waist. But the moment Alice sat down, she let out a terrifying scream, a scream that shook the whole building. "What is it?" Sandra shouted, trying to help her. Alice was crying and shaking violently. "Sandra, my private part, something is happening, it's coming out." Sandra froze in horror. What she saw made her speechless. Alice's womanhood was literally coming out of her body like it was turning inside out. Sandra quickly grabbed a wrapper and tied it loosely around her. "Hold yourself, let's go." She half carried, half dragged Alice to the car and drove straight to a native doctor she knew in the next town. When they got there, the old man looked at Alice once and sighed. This is not an ordinary sickness," he said. "It's the work of a woman, the wife of the man she's been sleeping with." Alice's eyes widened. "Alhaji's wife?" The native doctor nodded. "Yes. The woman went to her village to seek revenge. She warned you, but you didn't listen." He quickly began treatment, mixing herbs, rubbing ointments, and chanting words none of them understood. After a while, Alice calmed down. Her breathing steadied, and she stopped crying. "You will be fine," the native doctor said. "But listen carefully, you must never step foot in that compound again. If you do, this sickness will return, and next time, nothing will save you." Sandra nodded quickly. "Thank you, Baba. We understand." That same evening, Sandra helped Alice pack her things from the house. Alice couldn't look anyone in the face. Her pride, her beauty, her confidence, everything was gone. By morning, she boarded a bus back to the village. When she arrived, the villagers were shocked. Alice, the once proud and flashy girl, now dressed in long gowns, no makeup, no fancy clothes. She started attending church every day, singing in the choir, praying morning and night. People whispered, "Alice has changed, oh, she's now a born-again Christian." Her mother was overjoyed, thinking her daughter had finally seen the light. No one knew what really happened in the city. No one knew the secret behind Alice's sudden holiness. And Alice made sure it stayed that way. She smiled, prayed, and carried her Bible everywhere, determined to never return to her old life again. The end. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more interesting stories.